Hi, this is Domen from Phasio, and today I want to share with you what's new in June 2026. So, without any further ado, here's what we did. As you can see, the main screen has changed a bit, and this is so we can actually clean stuff away. The settings are now accessible via here if you click on your name. Oh, no, it's me all over this. You have settings here, and here you can access everything that you were used to accessing before on the main screen. What we have improved as well is under the quotes, if you're creating a new quote, you have now an option to save quote as a draft. Let me show you in a moment. So let's say you're uploading the part, you're still maybe waiting for some final pricing and whatnot, and you have decided that, let's say in this case, you want to use with the MJF pricing, but you want to save code as a draft. As you can see, the code's now being saved as a draft. You have a very clear icon here stating draft. Also, if you have in the table, you can see immediately this quote is in the draft status, it's not active. What you can do, you can reject it, or you can simply edit it before you're ready to either send it to the customer. So if you have no recipient send it to the customer, we just take the quote and convert it to the standard quote, right? And you can accept it and whatnot. One new thing that we added as well is quotes can now have owners. So you have multiple members, you can decide who is the owner of this quote. And inside the table, you can see we have a column here, owner, and you can also search if you say, okay, I want to know the owner is, and then you can type the person. And you will see the quotes only for that user on your team. So how is this affecting our work? Let's say if you go into the quote and now you have the owner, under the activity, you see there is nothing happening. But let's say if I accept the quote and I will just make a dummy PO, right? Click accept. Now you can see I've marked this quote as accepted. And so let's say if you have different user doing stuff, you will see here under activity thread. Okay, so now let's say, let's go into the orders. I want to show you something that we did. On the Kanban view where you have the order columns as you set them, we have changed a bit how the work orders are created. So if I can do it in two simple ways. One is to use the right click and hit the create work order. And here you see the parts that you need to schedule into production and the quantity, and you can simply schedule. And automatic, this is actually the part routing, which I will explain briefly in next few moments. But for now, that means it's taking your existing workflows and scheduling the parts into the production. And you can see already progress bar is active here, right? I can go in the production and I can see, okay, I have scheduled the production work order for this specification, and I have here inside one part waiting to be printed. And as you can see under the production tab, this is a bit new and modified screen. You can see these are the production steps or your operations, and you can modify them for the stations that haven't been yet concluded. So let's say for this part, I don't need the quality control because very simple part. I can just simply delete it and save the routing. And you can see the routing has now been updated. And this means as you're progressing the parts to the stations, you can on the fly change the work flow for a specific use case. But you can also, let's say, go in and you can see this specific build. The parts that are in, one is pending, zeros are staged. So let's say, let's stage a part. See it, because it's only one it's been staged, I can progress it. If I would like to do it differently, I can always go back until I hit progress. Let's say I go back, you can see the part is back in pending. Now it's staged, and if I hit progress, the part will move into the printing. Here I can change the name of the group and so on. Let me click progress, and that's it. You can go back to order 14. You can see under the production, the part has moved from waiting to print to the printing, and you have here the production trace as it was used before. So we have really tried to clean the user interface. Okay, so let's go back to the Kanban board. Now you have seen that I've scheduled the production order from here, but this order actually didn't move to the in production. So for all of those that were used, like when you click the order and push it into the production, that there was the automation triggering, this has changed a bit now. And let's investigate. If you go back into the settings, under the general, you have here, if you scroll down, the production part, and it says work order creation status. So because we have introduced these flexible part routings and operations, we had to remove the automation when you drag order from one column to the other, that it actually generated like work orders. At the moment, it works like this. When you schedule the production work order, then you can decide where this order will actually move. In my case, I wanted to move from pending review to the in production. And if your work orders actually require approved workflows, you can toggle this button here. Okay, so now let's actually take a look how that automation actually works. Let's go back to our order board. Order board. It's here. Okay, we see order 12. It's in pending review. And if I go in here, I can go like this, create a work order. Yeah, okay, I only want to produce one. Schedule. It's waiting. Let's see. Now you can see the order 12 has moved into the production. I could do it also like this. If I go onto the order 11, create a work order. Okay, let's say I'm happy with automatic. I can just schedule the part and it's moved in here. Okay, so that's due to the fact that the automation needed to change, because what you can do now is, and I will show you in a moment. Okay, so let's just say I want to schedule this part in the production. I can simply do like by clicking here, create work order, but now I can also change the routing steps on the fly. Let's just say that after the printing, I don't have any post processes, so I will just delete that. I also don't need quality control, so I only have 3 steps to really streamline the production. I will hit apply if I just want to proceed with that, or if this would be like a standard thing for the future on, I can also save it like a simple process. Let's call it simple FDM process. You can set it as default for this part, but for now I'll just hit it, save as template, and you see now this process will be used, and we can hit schedule. Now let's take a look at this part under the production. You see only 3 steps. And that's really cool, because now if you go onto this part, yeah, you can see the part is still here. Okay, now let's take a look where these routings are actually stored. You can see the part here and whatnot. You can click and you can go to the specification, and you can see the part. You can see the screen has been revamped a bit. You see which part of order it is, for which customers, and here you have the routing templates. And you can add as many as you wish. The default will be automatic, so coming from your process settings and workstation settings. But here you see the simple FDM process, which is approved, and I can either edit it if I have the privileges, or I can just delete the whole process. And this is really nice because you can have, let's say, first article inspection in some processes, but then when you get into the serial production, you might have a different routing for the same part. And here you have the overview of everything that is required. Okay, so I urge you to actually investigate, have a look, play with it, and you will get soon the feeling for these part routings and whatnot. And it's really not that difficult. It's really to enable you the flexibility and the compliance on the other hand. I want to show you some other things that we actually released. If you go under the settings and the general, you will now see that under the features, we have added the mesh repair. And let's say when you have a really nice parts and so on, you can disable this, which will actually speed up the analysis on the files. And if you're always aware how your files are looking like, then please go ahead and use this. Another thing that we actually did is on the, let's say, processes. If you go under any technology, under the materials, and let's say we have here the PLA with multiple colors. If we click edit, we have added the new, let's say, color user interface. So it's very, it's simply to add the color. You can just select like this. let's say yellow, kind of yellow, and you can see that you can now reorder them simply like this and click update. And this will also resonate on your storefront. Let's say when you have the color picker, this one you see black, white, red, there is no yellow. Let's hit refresh. Let's add a part. Doesn't really matter which one. And now you see black, yellow, white, red, right? And if we go back in our settings, let's hit edit. I said, look, I want to push red. So I want to have red on top. Click update. Let's go back to our storefront. Let's click refresh. I always want to do a demo for you so you can actually see how it's working. And now you see it's red on top. And the good thing is this is not only for the processes, it's also on the post processes. Look, I have here the painting and I have options green, velvet and blue. And it's exactly this that it's under the post processes. Let's have a look under the painting, see green, velvet and blue. And I can also take this and save it. So you can see the color option, how to add them and how to reorder them has been significantly improved. Additional thing that we actually did is if you go back to the app and the search, you know that we have significantly improved our, let's say, search function, right? Now you can see, let's say, the parts. If I, let's say, put into STL, you have based on these requisitions that I have in, and this opens up, and here you go to the order, specification, or to the revision. And this is really in order to empower you to have superpower searching capabilities. One more update that is more related to your storefront is here under Ask AI. This has been now migrated fully and it's hosted on our server, so data is completely in-house. And if you have a project request and the customer is using Ask AI, then you will have the transcript of that discussion of the customer with your AI. And it will be stored under the project. So not like for the quotes and stuff, but for the projects. As you can see, we have done a lot on revamping the user interface, adding some new features, improving the existing ones. But what we are most proud of as well is like the documentation is a lot better now. You have the pricing section where you can actually plug in the AI to it. You have everything explained here. I've also made a video. It's published on YouTube, so go ahead and look at it. And not only pricing is new, which enables you to actually do self-serve and create all the equations and everything you need for yourself with the help of ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, and whatnot. But also the planning section with the new build screen and whatnot, it's very, very thoroughly documented. So please, you can go ahead and dive into this. Plus also the production routing, which I just showed you. You have here everything. So how it works, what it does, and so on. Hope you like what you see. We're always here if you need us. You can reach over the help and support via app support, or you can always shoot me an email and we can meet and discuss stuff. But for now, please explore and come back with any questions. Take care and have a good day. Bye.